Hey, so I wanted to make a new video going over my multi-mirror endgame Tanner shot build because it's now mostly finished. And some question about the build as well. First, if you want to see more budget versions, I have it all listed down in the description below in different POBs, ranging from anywhere from like 100 divines all the way up to this build, which this build's probably like 11 or 12 mirrors now. And yeah, with this build, I've farmed 30 plus mirrors now, like obviously 20 mirrors in stash, 90 divines, and whatever this character is worth, which is probably like 11 or 12 mirrors. So yeah, quite a bit of currency. This league has been absolutely insane and really fun. And this is by far my best MF Tanner shot build ever. The power creep this league is just absolutely insane, which we'll show in a pop. Yeah, 4 questions I get really often is, what's this mage blood for and all that. Use Hunter for mapping, and then use mage blood to loot and do wildwood. Because there's like no monsters to come to wildwood, and also while looting, you just want to be faster, right? So yeah, let's go over the character real quick in the POB. So obviously we're using the miniature bow, miniature quiver. This quiver is technically not best in slot, but the best in slot quiver is not done yet. Don't know if it will be done. If you're wondering what the best slot quiver would be, it would be projectile speed over mark effect. To be cold convert over critical strike chance, but a quiver like that does not exist currently. But yeah, this is like the second best option. Perfect helmet, triple rarity, intelligence life. The crafted mod can be whatever, doesn't really matter. Agreed embrace, the double corrupt. The second corrupt can be whatever. The +1 gems is mandatory on 1 rarity off perfect, of course. Increased damage, just I really wanted more damage this league, so I tried to pack in damage everywhere I could. As you can see, our DPS is 8.9 million, which is extremely high for MF character because it's per an hour, by the way, and we have 11 arrows. So our DPS is if all 11 arrows hit, let's say, is over 90 million DPS, assuming all 11 arrows hit, which it usually doesn't on a single target, but yeah. So extremely high DPS this league because, like I said, the power creep's absolutely insane. So yeah, we'll continue with the gear. Cold convert gloves or rage implicit. A lot of people always ask, hey, what's the point of rage and use berserk? The point of rage is this right here. You get 50 rage, you get 10% move speed, 25% attack speed, and 50% increased damage. That's the single best implicit you can get in the game. That's a lot of stats, and it's insanely consistent, and it's always up. Like your maps are like 4 minutes plus long, right? So you get max rage like 40, 35 seconds in, depending on how good your implicit is on your glove, right? I want this to be 0.8 seconds, which I'll change later. But yeah, it's really strong. You don't need berserk. I don't use berserk. Don't use it either. You don't really have a good way to gain rage consistently. There's a slow way to gain rage, but yeah, it's very strong to have rage implicit on gloves. Very strong. But yeah, where I'm also getting my spell suppression is 60% of my cold convert. Also, once again, we have the cold res and increased damage hits against chilled enemies. Even though we don't need cold res, we're vastly over cap. It's just I really want to squeeze in all the damage I could this league because the monsters, when you get to like a 10k, 11k juice in your maps, are extremely tanky. Boots. Well, boots are only 1 corruption. I do want double corrupt boots. This is probably one thing I'm missing from the character, but I check daily on trade website and they just don't exist for what I want. So yeah, for now, just using 10% move speed. Eventually I'll have double corrupt, but it's not for sale right now. Amulet. This is the best amulet in my opinion. So there's different amulets you can use. You can use multi-quant physics extra. You can use quant double rarity, or you can use multi-quant rarity. So I'll go over all 3 and why I think this one is the best. So having game right here. This is also free mirror service, by the way, if you want to mirror it. But yeah, so I think multi-quant and rarity is the best because you do want damage. I don't think double rarity is good at all. You'll lose like 25% DPS. It's just way too much DPS to lose. Do not recommend it. And the reason why I chose quant multi-rarity over quant physics as extra rarity is because either in POB, if you put in the physics extra cold one, it might show as like more DPS, like 3 or 4%. But actually, because of headhunter buffs, it's a lot less DPS. With headhunter buffs, you're gonna steal like 2 or 3 physics extra buffs, and then the physics extra cold is a lot less valuable because it's the additive stat with itself. So yeah, the multi stat is by far the best one for damage. If you do want more damage, you can get quad, multi, and physics extra cold. But yeah, by damage, I feel like is enough right now. This is why I opted for rarity. But, you know, you can do whatever you want with the amulet. But yeah, I think for my build, this is the best one for how much damage I need. Rings is, you know, GG Ventures. I do want a slightly better Ventures, a little bit more rarity. It doesn't matter too much, but yeah, this Ventures is kind of insane. As you can see, the res on it is pretty much max, which I don't need. This is why I probably will get a better Ventures, because I can see my res is vastly over cap. Conjuring, of course, Headhunter with rarity implicit. Probably won't get quantum implicit because, from what I can see, quantum implicit is gonna be like vastly overpriced this league because everyone's doing MF. Like I saw Quant belt for 10 years, which is like, you know, stupid. I'm not gonna buy that. So I'll just take a rarity. Completely fine. If a Quant one comes up for like a reasonable price, sure, I'll buy it. But for now, I just take a rarity. And then, you know, Flask is Jade, Quicksilver, Regenesis, to distill it, and Gold Flask. So Jade Flask, very important, and you also want to increase evasion. You know, as you can see with my evasion, I am 1% off evade cap, which I still want to try to get somewhere. But yeah, it's very, very, very strong this league because of how OP the monsters are and how they just straight up one-shot you. You really want to try to get evade cap. Keep that in mind. And if you're wondering where I'm getting all this evasion from, obviously it's from Grace, it's from my Flask, it's from my Watcher's Eye, which gives me 8% evade, and it's from Blind on Hit, which is from my Charm. It just gives me about 4% evasion. So yeah, I'm almost evade cap, which is very, very, very strong. It's how I don't die in maps. You really, really want to get all the evasion you can from different sources. Oh, and also Dread Banner. It is questioned on a lot as well. What's the point of Dread Banner? Dread Banner reduces the enemy accuracy, and as you can see, it gives you a lot of evasion. If I put in a War Banner, for example, which is the other one that people commonly use, not War Banner, bad. Defiance Banner. The other banner people commonly use for evasion, you can see it's only 90%. It's way worse than that of Dread Banner. So yeah, reducing the enemy accuracy is way stronger than increasing your own evasion. So this is why I use Dread Banner. The other, you know, words in this does not matter. I never place it, although you can. But yeah. So yeah, this is how I'm pretty much solving my defense. I'm also spell suppress cap. You know, 3.8k life before we're reserve, which is, you know, pretty good. And of course, Progenesis with some Flask effect. That's all my defense. Oh, plus actually with the new thing this league, Adrenaline. So I get this question a lot too, like, hey, is Adrenaline 100% uptime? The answer is no. Adrenaline is not 100% uptime, but it's like good enough uptime to where, yeah, you definitely want to use it because that damage reduction and speed and all that's really, really useful. So, you know, if you use Blood Rage right, it's going to degen you down. You're going to get Adrenaline. Distill it brings you up. Then you take one hit right, and Adrenaline's going to reproc. So you do need to take a hit for Adrenaline to reproc, but, you know, in these maps, you're fighting like 6,000 monsters. You're going to constantly get re-hit. Even just from a small hit, it's going to be enough to make Adrenaline proc. Yeah, it's very well worth using. Highly recommend for any, you know, did distill it, Petrified Blood, Blood Rage build. Very, very strong. And of course, you know, this Quicksilver and Gold Flask. Standard MF stuff. So we'll talk about the tree real quick and the jewels. So I do eventually, if I get like a GG quiver and all that, I'm going to drop some points on the spell suppress nodes to take this on one last point right here. But yeah, outside of that, this tree's done. Using the methods that I've hoped here that everyone else uses, of course, it's just, you know, absolutely insane. Of course, always take this small masterization node. A lot of people miss this. If you're wondering, that is how I'm doing all my auras. So we have Pure Elements, Hatred, Grace, and Petrified Blood, with a Awaken level 5 Enlighten, with a +1 chest, right? Plus a mana reservation from here, and Charisma, and Sovereignty from your Amulet. So this is how I fit in all my auras. It's an extremely strong aura setup. When you have Awaken 5, because you get so much free reservation with Awaken 5 and +1 from chest. It allows us to run 3 50% auras and a 35% aura. And then of course, you know, on your life, you can do Precision, Vitality, and Dread Banner. And to draw Vitality real quick, this could be like whatever level you want. I might level this up a little bit more for myself. You just want enough like unreserved life to where it's not uncomfortable, to where you're instantly refilling your life with Div Distill it, right? So yeah, this can be whatever level you want. I might level a bit more for myself. Yeah, also on the tree, you want one life gain on hit node, and you want one mana gain on hit node. So we get the mana gain on hit from this Primal Spirit when I use a mana flask for 10 seconds. The reason for this is it allows you to do no leech maps which is very important. You need to have another regex on your 8-mod maps. This is why I have these 2 nodes. If you don't have these 2 nodes, then you cannot do no leech maps. It's not possible without some sort of instant leech or mana or life gain on hit. We're also using the extremely strong Lethal Pride. This one is not being used to its full potential because I am missing this frenzy, so I might switch the Lethal Pride out. I'm not really sure yet. This build is still like, it's like 99% done, but it's a semi work in progress, right? So yeah, this Lethal Pride is still extremely strong. Only it's a 1 DD node, so it's 25% double damage here. So you have one right here, one right here. So the one's one right here, then one right here, and then one right here. So yeah, 25% double damage. It's 30% double damage if you can get fervor. So yeah, this is the whole reason why I'm also not using Conspiro this league. If it was any other league, I'd probably use Conspiro, but the reason why I'm not using Conspiro is because the damage from Lethal Pride is just absolutely insane. Like, look at this DPS I get from this 1 jewel, right? If you use Conspiro, you have to come up here, sacrifice a lot of points, take these rarity nodes, don't give you any damage, and it's like there's like 40% DPS from Conspiro and no Conspiro. So yeah, definitely use Lethal Pride this league. You need the damage. Do not go for rarity. Rarity after 400% is actually quite useless. Maybe I'll make another updated the rarity and quantum mission returns video. But yeah, Lethal Pride is the way to go, and it solves all your strength issues while giving you a lot of life as well. Like you can see, I'm getting too much of life, so it's like insane amount of damage, solves all your strength, and it gives you a lot of life. Yeah, just don't use Conspiro. Outside of that, I'm using the Fuel to Fight, Martial Prowls, and Feed to Fury cluster. Just gives a little bit of accuracy and solves my leech. That's how I get both my leech. I don't have this point. Yeah. Actually, let me switch real quick. So yeah, sometimes POB messes up or whatever. I have this node. Yeah, so this is also another node that I took this league. Usually I never take this node, but projectile mastery, knockback enemies if you get a critical strike with projectile damage. Just because monsters are really tanky this league and live a lot longer, this is actually quite a massive defense increase. If you haven't tried this out, give it a go for yourself. It's actually really helpful and gives you a lot of defense for 1 point. Can highly recommend. And it works nice with Mirage Archer because as you're moving, Mirage Archer will knock back enemies for you. So yeah, back to the cluster real quick. So we're just using Spike Concoction, and we're using Streamlined and Repeater. Just standard clusters. The Spike Concoction, this flask effect is really, really nice when using all these high value flasks like Genesis, Distillate, Quicksilver Jade, right? Streamline Repeater, this is its best combo. You want projectile speed and a repeater. Don't get eye to eye. A lot of people get eye to eye here. Eye to eye is really, really trash when using Far Shot, so don't do it. As for the Forbidden Jewels, we're using Focal Point. You can use any Forbidden Jewels you want. This is completely up to you. Focal Point is just technically the best because this small passive is the worst. But any Forbidden Jewel on these major ones can work. But yeah, they are expensive. Outside of that, we're getting inverted res from Elemental Mastery, very important. If you want to run Reflect Maps, by the way, just get a Reflect Charm like this. This was the best Reflect Charm I could find if you want the damage. So I just want to charm in over a +1 projectile charm, and I'm good to go. This last wheel, very, very important. Never skip this video MF. It's a huge quality of life, plus 10% blast effect is just strong. Yeah, never skip this. And then, of course, the 40% cold conversion for this cold mastery. You could also get on your Watcher's Eye and then save points by not taking this wheel. So, up to you. And then, yeah, the last one is this 12 passive cluster, which is extremely strong, and I very much like taking this every time. Gives you attack speed, chaos res, max life, and increase effect. This one's actually outdated. I have a 5% one now. I didn't update my POB, but yeah. And then you have 35% increase effect, which makes all these nodes even better. So like 5% chaos res goes to 6%. So on a 12 passive cluster, we get 10 of these nodes, it gives you 60% chaos res. So it completely fixes your chaos res. And then each node gives 4% attack speed and like 16% increased damage with bows. So 1 point is insane. Also 13 life. I can show in game. Actually, it shows accurately what they give. So yeah, 16% increased damage, 13 max life, 4% increased attack speed, and a 6 chaos res. So it's absolutely insane jewel and solves a lot of your chaos res issues and gives you a lot of life. So it allows you to drop this life wheel without feeling squishy. Of course, I have a GG Watcher's Eye. Hatred crit, evade, and then hatred pen. This hatred pen could be anything. I was looking for one good third prop hatred eye, and this was the best one I found after like a week of searching. You can also get precision crit multi. You also get a hatred conversion, which would allow you to drop this mastery. That's also good. You know, you can get a lot of things here. The damage pen is just very strong. It's just what I found at the time. My GG, that which was taken. Colon strike, additional proj, and pen. The rate doesn't matter. But this is a 3 prop jewel. I think this was like 1 mirror when I brought it. Very, very strong. Colon strike you don't need in this build, but it's just nice to have. It's especially in this tanky league where a lot of mobs don't get one shot. So yeah, I can highly recommend this. If you want to know what's the point in here, because obviously trying to copy this build, you probably can't find one exactly like this. Just, you know, colon strike or proj with another useful stat. One useful stat is good enough. Let's say you had like, you know, Cole and Adrenaline. Cole and Adrenaline, that was taken, was pretty strong. You know, won't have additional proj that would allow you to drop this additional Adrenaline charm for additional projectile. So yeah, that's about it for the character. The quant and rarity, I guess I should go over. I'll just show you right here. Is 90% quant and 474 rarity, and we can push this up past 480% rarity pretty soon with like better Ventures or whatever. The quant is capped out unless we get corrupted Ventures or corrupted Headhunter. So yeah, high quant, high rarity, pretty much endgame GG gear. And yeah, I guess I'll go to skill gems real quick. Tornado shot, vicious projectile, smart dodger, inspiration, fork, and wed. I get this question a lot. You know, like why fork over chain? Fork is just better than awaken chain. The reason why for this is because you fork twice and then it chains twice. So how does that work? So a single projectile, right? When you shoot all these projectiles, by the way, it hits one enemy, then it forks twice. So a fork, it makes this arrow split into 2 different arrows in a 90 degrees angle, and then it forks again. So it does that twice. So it generates 4 additional arrows, and all 4 of those arrows could chain, meaning one single arrow could potentially hit up to 9 times, which is insane, which is why fork plus chain is such a really good combo. Compared to awaken chain, and why awaken fork is just better than awaken chain, especially this league. Awaken chain only gives you +3 chain, so it means 1 arrow plus your ascendancy. It only allows you to hit up to 5 enemies with a single arrow, so almost half that of awaken fork. Of course, chain's a little bit more consistent, but the downside of chain is less damage with hits compared to fork, where you get more projectile damage. The difference between them is actually 20% damage. That's a lot of DPS in a league where you need damage, right? You see we're 7.3 million with chain, and we're 8.9 million with fork. So yeah, awaken fork is better than awaken chain. Awaken chain is better when you do stuff like low density alchemy maps, where there's not that many mobs to hit with your fork. But you know, in these maps, there's literally 6,000 plus mobs in a single map. Your fork is always hidden mobs. So yeah, this is why I use awaken fork over awaken chain. But keep in mind, awaken fork is apparently lagging people out this league. So if it's lagging you, you know, go for awaken chain or whatever. Mirage Archer is the best TS gem tool, by the way. Like, you know, people ask all the time, like, should I drop Mirage Archer for a damage gem? The answer is no. It's actually the highest damage gem for tornado shot in the game, because your Mirage Archer is always attacking and you're not, right? Like in TS, you're not standing still and doing this in the map. Like, this is not a thing, right? Maybe on a single rare you might, but you're like doing this, right? You're constantly attack moving, but your Mirage Archer is always attacking, always. So it's, if anything, Mirage Archer is more like a 50 to 60% more damage when you have stuff like Soul Eater as well. So you're absolutely insane down. Do not drop this. Outside of that, you know, standard Sniper's Mark setup. You can use Frost Blink or Flame Dash. Frenzy of Onslaught. This is where I'm solving my Onslaught. It's actually very consistent. I would recommend to try this out. Also, we're getting Power Charge on Crit. Power Charge on Crit is optional though. This is not like a needed mod. And Steel Skin. Obviously bleeds a lot, and just the defense of just, you know, randomly getting like a 2k buff for shield is really, really high value. And we know the orders already. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions about the character or the build, you know, just leave a comment down below. Also stream on Twitch daily, and yeah, do more Burial Chambers.